the workshop on the 3 business models as you as a consultant need to implement right now to make it through the recession. We're streaming on different channels. I have invited a small number of people into my Zoom call. So if you're here, Todd, awesome. Um, so as you come in, I would let you in as we go through this workshop. But we're going to be on Insta, we're here on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook, and on YouTube. So welcome wherever you watch this. I'm also watching the comments on as many channels as I can. So if you want to have any questions or want to share something, do this now. By the way, I also shared that link to the workbook. It will help you tremendously if you print it out. So the workbook looks like this. We're talking about the delivery power matrix today, the 3 business models that help consultants grow in recessions. And I just came over from Ireland. I was in Ireland for about 6 weeks. We have property there. And I haven't watched the news for 6 weeks or US news for 6 weeks. And the first thing that I want to tell you is like, don't think about recessions. The best thing, the best way to make it through recessions or economic downturns is to not think about it and rather be focused on what you can do to move things forward. Okay, so if you only did that today, wonderful. Can tell you, 6 weeks, none of the drama in politics, none of the what's that, Elon Musk and Twitter things, very, very helpful. So just don't think about it. Think about what you can do moving forward, what your clients need right now, and how you need to change and adjust. These recessions or times like that, when it's difficult, that's when we learn. When things go well, we typically stop learning, right? I had that when I first built my consulting company to $1 million. I had one dominant client and it was good. Life was good. And then they had dramatic changes, organizational changes. We got booted out, and overnight, my business was almost out of business. Okay, so but these are the times when we learn. With these recessions are the times when we need to review: is what we're doing still working, and what do we need to add, change, or modify? Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. So here's the workbook. And there's a little bit of background that you can read, but I want you to go to the motivation snapshot right now. Where is my motivation snapshot when I want you? There it is. Okay, so I want you to go to the motivation snapshot right now and think about the 5 business motivators that that you focus on. So every business owner, if you're a consultant in particular, there are 5 business motivators that you have always you always need to have them on your mind. The first one is the quality of your product or service, um, the prospects that you're having right now, which meaning the sales, your pathways, meaning the processes that you have in place to service your clients, and all the back end stuff, your positioning in the market, and profits. We all need to be focused on these 5, but at any given time, we can only focus on 2 in order to move them forward. Because, as we say in Germany, if you juggle too many balls and have too many balls in the air, you'll drop them all. So make that decision right now. Which of these motivators, which 2 are right now urgent for you, and which one is important? For example, um, right now it may be prospects, right? It's urgent if you don't have enough. And then it's also important, right? Because if you don't have prospects, the clients, you don't have business, no income, you go out of business. All right. So pick the 2 business motivators right now and then make a decision which of them are urgent and important. And these are the ones that you highlight. Okay. So in this case, going to be prospects and profits, for example. All right. Yours may be different. I just put them here for illustrative purposes. And so now my question to you is: in the last 90 days, in the last 3 months, how seriously have you treated these business motivators? So did you say these are a must? I've been driving the car. I've been moving things actively forward, or did you say, I was kind of like the passenger, right? I was in it, but not really in control of my business or the vehicle. Or you are the backseat driver, and you're right here in the back, and kind of leaning back, falling back onto your heels, or you actually have said, you know what, I am luggage. So I'm really not contributing to anything. I don't have clients. I don't move things forward. I don't change, whatever it is. So make a decision. Make a decision where you are right now, and a commitment today how you're going to move from, let's say, if you were the backseat driver, to making it a must. If you made only two business motivators a must today, will you achieve the results that you want to achieve? Yeah, 100%. Right. So, and the as we go through this workshop, I want you to make notes and think through what you've learned and what it is that you absolutely must do in order to implement what you've learned and to move your business forward. Who do you need to talk to in order for help or for advice? And third, what do you need to stop doing? Okay. And at least I want you to leave this workshop with three ideas and three concrete actions that you can take in order to move your business forward and change or add to your business model or modify your business models so that you can service your clients and achieve and make progress with these five business motivators. All right. So let's cover real quick how I look at these things. I have notes here. I also need to look at that as well, so that I make sure that I don't miss things. The number one mistake that's when it comes to consultants and business coaches is that their niche is too wide, right? So they're very generic, right? So let's say, I'm working with small business owners. I'm working with spiritual or heart-centered leaders. I'm working with divine women. I'm working with large companies or technical technology companies, and so on. And that broadness, specifically in recessions, does not work anymore, because people, like in recessions or when their business goes down or they have trouble, they want to know, is the person that I'm talking to exactly as qualified as I need them right now? Okay. And it's for consultants and business coaches, when things get tough, there is a pushback from a lot of people, of them, because they feel that they miss opportunities. If they niche too narrowly, then there's all the other, business consulting opportunities out there that you're not going to get. The irony is that the exact opposite happens, right? So the more specialized you are, the more clear you are who you serve, the the more business you're going to get. It will make your marketing and your sales much easier. It would streamline everything, and make also your communication with your email list, your followers, and your prospects. Okay, so when it comes to niching or niching, but both words are okay, by the way. Depends on whether you derive from the French or the English. Totally cool. I say I interchange them as I feel. So there's no rhyme or reason there for me. Okay, so three things when it comes to niching, and that's where you need absolute clarity in order to determine the business models that work for you during this recession. So number one is, do you like your clients, right? You will not be happy in your business, and you will not be able to serve your clients if you don't enjoy them. Yes. So my personal success criteria is that I only work with people that I can see myself sitting at a bar or having a dinner and enjoying the conversation without them being clients. That would be the ideal clients. But on a more granular level, here are the decisions that I want you to make. So number one, uh, are they self-identifiable? Okay, self-identifiable, meaning when you go to a barbecue and you meet somebody and you ask them, so what do you do for business? Nobody will say, I'm an entrepreneur, unless they're multi-level marketers. They're the only people that I know that call themselves entrepreneurs. Everybody else will introduce themselves as, you know, by their function or by their industry. For example, they would say, you know, I own a car repair shop, right? I own a translation company. I am an engineer. I am a CEO for a technology company, right? So there must be self-identifiable. Small business owners is not a niche or niche. It's a demographic. It's a good start, but it's a demographic. Okay, see you later. Bye. Um, okay, so number two is do you have loving credibility? Loving credibility, that's what I call it, in that field. For example, did I share? So loving credibility. For example, do you really have a background that they can relate to? Okay. Um, oh, sorry, I was distracted. So yeah. So if you want to teach people how to run their IT department better, you better have a background there, right? Or a track record of helping companies, and you need to love it. All right. So do you have the credibility? And the third one is uh, are the clients that you're talking to solution aware, meaning they're aware that they have a problem and that there's a solution out there. And one of the solutions is you. So I'm working here, so we have a lot of people coming in and out. So there's an in and out. I don't know what's happening here on Zoom right now, but we have Larissa here also on the call. Awesome. Cool. And so that's about do you like them? If you like them. The second one is, can you help? Right? So you absolutely must be able to help your clients, meaning, can you provide massive value? You must be able to create massive value in a specific time zone, time span. That's what we're looking for. Yeah, so it needs to be time bound. And finally, uh, how do you want to serve them, right? So there are three options that you have. You can give them services. Most consultants give them services, but there's also the option to sell them or information or build a community. Okay. And what we're going to cover in a moment is, and what I will submit to you is that in times like these, you probably want to have a mixture of that, a combination of these three, one way or the other. Because right now, it's not important anymore to tell people or small business owners that you help them with their mindset, their money mindset, or that you help them manage their finances, or that you help them make profits, or increase clients, or increase sales. You got to be specific. What you gonna offer them, in what time frame, and how. And there are three areas that are super recession proof, have been recession proof for at least the last 18 years since we measure demand for those services. The first one is health and beauty. So let me explain that real quick. Health and beauty. If you work with, oh, you know what? I cover that later. So health and beauty. Second is money and finance. Yes. And the third category is love and relationship. So there are two more. One is entertainment, and the other one is vice. So that's like alcohol, drugs, gambling, and so on. If you're in those fields, awesome. I'm just not your coach or consultant, right? So that's not my forte. I work with people that are interested in helping their clients increase their relationship, for example, with their staff members, their health, their well-being of their staff members, and increase money and wealth. All right, cool. So the third one is, can they pay you? All right. So paying you means, in particular, do they have the dollars? Yes. Um, Are they eager to pay? Meaning, not only do they have the money, they also want to pay for it and commit for to get an expert. Because here's what I've learned: people that struggle are typically people who invest a lot of time to make money. People that are successful invest a lot of money in order to save time, and they're looking at ask experts like yourselves to get them the results faster or better results than they could do by themselves. So if they have that mindset, they are the ideal clients. And second is they are interested in a relationship. So they are not transaction focused. So meaning that's when we talk about later when we talk about hourly rates, they are not them in their mind. It's not like I get 10 hours of that person, and for the 10 hours I get X. They understand that a successful relationship needs time to build, and they're also investing, or they're willing to invest their time on top of money. So there's a long-term view. What long-term view means depends on your business. I have a client who is in wealth, specialized in wealth generation, no, generational wealth transfer, and her time frame is 10 years. Okay, so yeah, if you have a client who wants who does not want to invest those 10 years in a relationship, that's not your client. All right. In other cases, maybe just half a year or a year or 2 years or 3 years. Ideally, we want a client to be at least willing to consider a time investment of 4 to 5 years. All right. So that's the framework. And now let's break this down in terms of what that means for you in your business model. So number one is, remember, we have this genius model here that I covered earlier. And we talked about the industries that are, or the categories that are important. Number one was health, beauty and health. Number two was money. And number three was love and relationship. All right. So I'll give you an example. For health, you can, for example, be focused, like if you're in IT, let's say you're an IT consultant, you could be focused on team well-being, yes, team utilization, team happiness, team productivity. So you would have productivity, for example, and helping people in this department to focus on what they absolutely must do versus what they could be doing, and help them with like competing interests and distractions and so on. Maybe you help them with their energy. I'm a certified high performance coach, and so what we are doing very early on in our process is to help people raise their level of energy, because we know that when they go through transformations, they need additional energy to do that, but they also need to have the ability to infuse that energy into their teams. Leaders, business owners, they fail primarily because they are unable to infuse the energy, or unable to manage the energy that um, they need in their organization. We all know the bad apples in teams, yes? So that, bring everybody down. And a lot of leaders that don't have the courage to take decisive action, right? But managing energy, your own and that of your clients and your clients' teams, super important for your overall well-being as for a team, right? So cool. So, and now the decision. So let's go. Let's write this down here real quick so that we don't forget. So there will be productivity or energy, for example. Yes. So when we talk about money, okay, so money is very easy. You either want it more or less. Okay, so either, I mean, you want more revenue or you want lower cost, right? So that's what it is, right? Or you want a better cash flow, for example. But you want either more or less of it, and that's period. Don't need to say more. And when it comes to love, change management. If you are a consultant, technology consultant, for example, or you're a human resources consultant, or a training consultant, or um, whatever kind of business consultant you are, and you want to implement new things. You have those ideas that work very well for others, but for some reason the client or the client teams pushes back, right? So that's when change management comes in, for example. Yes, change management. There's an issue right now with employee retention. Yes, so let's keep the good people. If your clients need to downsize and they need to let go of some, what are you going to do to keep the ones that you want to keep? Yeah, keep them happy. Okay, so that's that. There's a matter of conflict resolution that uh, we all face as consultants as we work with teams. There's a matter, an issue of trust. So whenever I go into client organizations and I talk about automation, for example, automating processes, the number one pushback that I get from the teams is, yeah, it's awesome that you can automate, but it's also true that if it's automated, they don't need us anymore, right? So I think there's a hidden agenda here from management. And the reality is, as you know, if you've been in this business for a while, that when those automation projects progress, even if it wasn't in on the mind of the person who leads the project or the budget holder. Eventually, that may happen, especially in downturns. Okay, so uh, these are the areas that, as a consultant right now, you need to address. You need to help your clients with, uh, and yeah, so help them with, give them hold them by the hand and provide them either services, information, or a community that they can work with. So that's the next thing I want you to think through here right now. What is the service type that you can offer right now in each of these categories? For example, when it comes to health, do you have some kind of information that you can share, or some data points, for example, or do you have some group exercises that that you can do or give your clients, and or do you integrate them in some kind of community of where people meditate together, right? So I'm just making things up. You need to figure that out for your own clients, and then do the same for uh, money and for the love and relationship categories. All right. So you can do that at home if you want to use this here right now and work. If you have, when you have ideas, just write them down. Doesn't have to be pretty. Just write them down that you have them, and then we will prioritize that later on. Cool. Now that we're clear on how we can help our clients, what other additional services or products we can offer. Now let's talk about how we're going to deliver them. That's really the meat and potatoes here of this presentation. So number one is that, is my sorry. So number one is when we deliver, there are typically two models that coaches and consultants are operating. So it's either we have a done for you model, which is a typical consultant model. Yes. So we do all the work, we gather all the information, we write we write the reports, we put together the PowerPoint presentation that our client then, for example, can use to present the findings to their own management. Sometimes we do the presentation ourselves. We do, I don't know, wherever you are, you do the bookkeeping, you do the IT assessments, you do the HR assessments, you do the strength assessment, like a call BA or DISC or whatever you have, right? So, and then you write the reports and report that back. So that's done for you. It's a model that is very good for the client, right? Because you are taking off a lot of their work, um, and take that on so that they don't have to do it, and you do it better. It's not so good for you, for the consultants. Why? Because it's a lot of work. It's typically not scalable unless you add seats to it, and then you need to nurture, some help or other people that can do the same work that you can provide or that your clients values you for, right? So on the other side of the spectrum, we have the do-it-yourself. which is more the coaching model, where, which is good for the coach. Those are online courses, recorded trainings, and so on. Not so great for the client, because we know that these approaches are not so successful. For example, with online training, we know that most people after 2 weeks drop off. I think 93 or 97% is the drop off rate after 2 weeks. And so the client doesn't get the results that they want with that approach. In the middle is the done with you model, where we have a combination, right? So we do some of the work for the client. We teach them a little bit, so they go home and do their homework. They report back to you. You help them further. You distill some of that information and then feed it back back to the client. And lastly, which is the one area or the one mode that most consultants are missing, is done with technology. Okay, so done with technology, for example, means that you give them a technology, access to a technology that you are already using to help them go further. For example, I was in a niche industry called localization, and part of localization is terminology management. So most companies, even like especially large organizations, they don't want like a fringe technology piece, in their technology landscape, because A, it's distracting. B, you never get support. C, the IT team says, I have like 20 users for that software that we need to support, but that's not worth our time, right? Um, because what happens when the email system breaks down and the terminology system breaks down? The terminology system or translation management system will always lose. All right. So why not give your clients access to that? We did that with the software that we bought. As an illustrative example, the software that we bought that was called TermWeb, right? So web-based terminology management software, and so we managed our client's terminologies on it, but we also gave the client access to it so that reviewers could go in there and make changes and track everything accordingly. Yeah, and we charge you for that. Yes, cool. Um, that's why, that's the beauty of delivering, giving access like that. And in your case, it may be an HR database, an HR system, maybe access to some of the reports. It may be a workflow management system that you set up for them, and you give them access to. For example, we did that with the Reich, and so everybody had access to it. They could use, our clients could use that as well, and we would support it in the back end. There were or another client of mine who is a technical documentation. She offers her client access to her authoring tool. Okay, so what are the technologies that you can deliver to your clients so that you can help them move forward? And typically, as consultants, we we are focused on some of those areas. We either somewhere like we're doing some work done with you and done for you services, or we're doing some done with you and training services. We are providing technology platforms for them, and that our clients can use to get their work done, or we provide the technology for them. So we buy it for them, we charge them back with a little bit on top, and we do most of the work. Yeah, we would do all the terminology research, for example, or run all the strength reports, and then generate all the other reports, so like strength comparisons and team dynamics and so on, and make that available to them. So typically, as a consultant or coach, you operate in one area. You may be here, for example, or you may be up there, right? I'm not making a suggestion that you should be there. Don't interpret the colors as wrong or right. But typically, we are in one box. And what I'm submitting you today is that if you want to grow through a recession, you need to think through, or challenge you to think through, how can you, let's say if you in the red box, how can you move to the other three boxes. And in the more boxes you're in, the stronger your relationship with your client and the more your business will grow and the more scalable it will become as well. So if you're in the green box, for example, okay, what are you going to do? So how do you, what kind of services, information, or community can you offer your clients so that you can branch out to these other quadrants? Ideally, what I want you to be is at least in three of the quadrants. And which of the three these are, totally your decision. Okay, so that was what I wanted to give you on the way today. And as we close, I would want you to focus on some of the insights that you've gained and take a moment to think about what was the most important learning today, what are the next action steps, what do you need to stop doing, and who do you need to talk to in order to move things forward, because you cannot do alone. We all need help sometimes. We all ask for it too late. Yes, so ask often and early, but also think about what you need to stop doing right now in order to be able to advance yourself forward. Okay, and with that you go back to the motivation snapshot and add all your information here. Okay? And now you have your plan for the next 3 months. Yes, you know what your business motivators are. By the way, if your email inbox is overflowing right now, then it's typically because you do not have the discipline to focus on those two business motivators that matter right now. My inbox has, I don't know, like 3 emails in it right now. Why? Because everything that does not have to do with my business motivators, I delete. I unsubscribe from all the mailing lists. I'm not doing myself a favor here, right? So it's like, oh, let's unsubscribe from Andrew. Fine. If that's not in line with your business motivators, by all means do this. Damon, yes, being intentional and moving and maintaining three quadrants, 100%. Yes. And intentional means, what are my next steps? Who do I need to talk to? What do I need to stop doing? And everything else you blend out, because we lose momentum and focus when, but because we're working on what we call it, distracting all the distractions, golden distractions. What's that? Shiny objects. That's what we're looking for. Shiny objects. Yes, I say, yeah, 100%. Yes, 100%. But it's the shiny objects. When I talk to business leaders often and they're not making progress, and I look at them, the first thing I ask them is like, give me your calendar for this week and next week. And if I cannot extract exactly what you're working on, you have a problem. So delete. You either need to have more clarity, or you need to reduce some of the work that you should be no longer doing because that's not moving you forward. Okay, so make a decision. What are the two business motivators, and everything else got to go. Okay, then reflect on what you've learned, and just 3 steps. That's all I want you to take. 3 steps that you must do. Let's talk about must do versus good to do also, right? Must do means, what are the activities that move you forward? So give an example of my personal life. I just opened um, with the workshop with my coming back from Ireland after 6 weeks, because we have property over there. Yes. And a few years ago, when we started building the house, the architect came with the architecture blueprints, and we opened them up and we looked at it, and we're wondering, so where's everything? And then we found the kitchen, my wife and I. Yes. And then we spent 2 hours talking about what we want the kitchen to look like, and the flow and how we entertain guests, and where the oven is, and the fridge and the sink and all of that, and how do we prevent kids from running around the oven, like and the stove while I'm cooking, all these things. 2 hour conversation was an awesome conversation, but it is also true that At the time, we didn't even have a building permission. Yes. So why we spent 2 hours talking about the kitchen, important conversation, it wasn't urgent, right? So if we only had spent 10 minutes on filing the building permission on that day, we would have made more progress. That's what I mean with must do. So look at your calendar. What are the two business motivators that you will be focusing on? What are the changes in the delivery power matrix that you need to make? These guys here. What are the additional services that you can offer, and what are the next steps? Okay, and everything else has to go. Period. Cool. Um, that's it. If there are any questions, this would be a good opportunity to ask them now. Damon is here, Todd is here, Larissa is here. Tell me, any questions? As you think about it, one of the most questions that I get at this time is, how do I know where to start? Right? How do I know where to start? Um, for that reason, I remember when we talked about the niche and your niche, I will send you um, after this workshop an authority builder that will help you create your LinkedIn profile that is optimized for sales. Because the number one mistake that people make is they do what LinkedIn wants them to do, which is they connect with their peers. But um, if you do that, you will not get your name and message in front of the people that buy. So you actually need to optimize your um, profile for sales, and in your network only have to be people, or need to be people that could be potential clients, or collaborators, or people that help you get clients and refer you to others. Everybody else is a distraction. You will not get your message in front of the right people. And the authority builder, I'm going to send that to you after the workshop, will help you with that to optimize your profile as well, so that you can attract people. People find you and they know what your niche is. All the conversations about the niche that we had today, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that training as well. Okay, cool. Damon here, more technology examples. Super. Technology for consulting driven by technology. Cool. Um, for for example, and I mentioned that earlier, I talked about terminology management, I talked about workflow management. Um, Automation is usually what people are looking for right now because it makes them scalable. So what are the technologies that you have that you can offer that you're already using? Yes, and you maybe your own. I'll give you an example. Give you an example from my business. I'm part of a coaching mastermind, and they also deliver or give to me as part of my membership access to a software called Coach Marketing Machine. And so I'm a member, and as part of the membership, I can use everything that that system does. Right? That's the mailing list, that's the website, you know, the messaging, and so on happens in the Coach Marketing Machine. I don't pay extra for that. It's part of my membership. But not only that, they also, as they coach me on, how to go forward with, with our marketing campaigns, you know, they have pre-configured all the campaigns, and all I need to do is add my content. Okay, so that would be an example where technology helps me as a client to be more successful without an additional investment. And why are you using that? Because they're using the same thing for themselves. Okay, they add me as a vendor to it. So look at what you're already using. Maybe it's even a third-party tool that, and then you talk to that company and ask them if you can either, sell more license, be a reseller, or just add new instances or new domains or new, what do you call it, databases, for example, on it. Was that helpful, Damon? Yes, no. I'm waiting. Is this version recorded also? Is the version recorded for us to have a copy? Well, on LinkedIn, I think that will be available for a long, long time. But I will also make that available in my Facebook group. So if you're interested in joining my Facebook groups called Clients for Consultants, then let me know and I will give you access to that as well. All right. Awesome. Awesome, Larissa. Awesome. Thank you. Cool. So these are all the things that I wanted to share with you today. I hope that you, if you can, actually, if you're still here, for those who are still watching, what are your 3 next steps? Let me know. Okay. And I think you can comment afterwards as well. And good luck. It's scary out there for some people, but you're going to make it, right? So you're going to make it. If you implement this, you will be in a much better position moving forward. Yes, awesome. And I see you on LinkedIn. Bye.